Today we find ourselves at the Congressional Cemetery on E Street in Southeast Washington. Today we celebrate a great Catholic saint, Charles Borromeo, Archbishop of Milan and stalwart advocate for the reforms of the Council of Trent and the Catholic Counter-Reformation. As was often the case in that era, he became a cardinal at 23, a priest at 27, a bishop 3 months later, and an archbishop the next year, all through family connections that served family interests. He was born 2 years before Ignatius formed the society in 1540 and served as Archbishop of Milan from 1564 until 1584, at which time he died at the age of 46. Milan was the largest archdiocese in Italy. No archbishop had lived there for 80 years, though undoubtedly collecting the salary, hence corruption and disorder throughout. St.Charles recognized the need for reform of the clergy, and so established or upgraded seminaries and Catholic colleges. He ended the sale of indulgences and ecclesiastical positions and ordered monasteries to reform themselves. He ordered the simplifying of church interiors to avoid distractions in worshiping God. He used the funds of the archdiocese and his own funds to feed people of Milan after the famine of 1576, followed by an outbreak of the plague. He died of exhaustion. It is no surprise to learn that he faced significant opposition in Milan and Rome from those who resisted reform, including the decisions of the Council of Trent that had taken place during his lifetime. It is hardly a surprise that Vatican II has faced such opposition, and that in our own day, Pope Francis is facing such opposition as well. These reactions are regrettably from people who fear change and who profit from the status quo. Since we do not know how long Francis will live, nor who will replace him, nor how the process of reform will continue, we need a way to think about stability, continuity, forward movement, and change in human life when stakes are high, both spiritually and politically. The wealth and power of the institutional church are such that the political, financial, and the spirit all blend together. So if we are admirers of Pope Francis, how might we regard his replacement by a pope who did not share his commitment to reform? By extension, how do we find peace amidst the opposition to him within the church? How do we find peace when the social, economic, and political world we live in moves in directions contrary to our hopes and dreams? In the desert after his baptism and in the garden, Jesus faced challenges that can be translated by the Greek word pyrosmos, that can be understood as a trial of personal fidelity, integrity, virtue, constancy, or an experience of adversity, affliction, or trouble that tests or proves one's character, one's faith, one's holiness. Jesus passed these tests and frequently reminds us that we will face such trials too. So it should come as no surprise to us that in a sinful world and a sinful church, such trials will confront us. Sometimes, of course, we are the problem, and so the source of the trial. In this case, we must be ready to step back, admit our responsibility, and change our ways. But in many cases, we must face opposition to our beliefs, values, statements, and actions, because we believe them to be true. We do so as a matter of honesty and integrity, and we grow in honesty and integrity as we remain constant when we feel under attack. Jesus asks us to remain faithful to the end as he did. He promises us that God too will remain faithful as the Father did for Jesus. God will make a way out of no way. God will be our good shepherd as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, per Psalm 23. Let's redouble our commitment to our Catholic faith and our Catholic values and ask for God's blessing on us all in the midst of trial.